Welcome everyone to another episode of the Rankings videos. I am your host, Slasher Scotty, and boy do I have a surprise for all of you. We're about to rank down the top 11 final guys from the Friday the 13th franchise. We previously ranked the final girls of the franchise, so now it is time to give the guys that battled Jason and survived a chance at being ranked. But before we do, I have a sponsor to plug right about now, and that is RAZE Energy. Make sure to get your 12-pack of RAZE Energy and any other Rep Sports memorabilia, and doing so will guarantee you 15% off your next order by using slasherscotty in the coupon code at checkout. RAZE is guaranteed to keep you going and going and going during long days and nights at the office or in the classroom. So make sure to pick up your energy drink of RAZE, which comes in a variety of different flavors with 0 sugar in each can. But now that we mentioned our sponsor for this episode of the Rankings video, let me tell you all to please subscribe to me here on YouTube and show me some love. Don't forget to hit that bell notification icon to be updated on all things Slasher Scotty. And of course, like the video if you like what you saw, as well as comment your own personal rankings on the final guys from the Friday the 13th franchise. So, which final guy is the best of the best and the worst of the worst? Well, let's find out. But before we do, you know what time it is. It's time to deliver the ultimate golden rule that this channel has. And the golden rule is very simple, actually. These rankings are they're my opinion. They're my personal picks. They may vary from yours, so don't bash me in the comment section on how stupid I am for choosing one final guy over another. Now, how about we go into my other studio where we can, start ranking the final guys from the Friday the 13th franchise? How about it? See you over there, alright, at number 11. Woohoo! Number 11 is Nick from Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. Nick wasn't really much of a final guy and was obviously overshadowed by the final girl, as any final guy really should be to begin with. Nick was most likely added as a character to be a love interest to Tina Shepard, and when it came to battling Jason, yeah, he did survive, but barely. Being knocked out and all over the place by Jason, as well as being shoved into a canoe and shooting at Jason on the dock, Nick just wasn't good enough to even be close to a threat to Jason himself. And in all honesty, had no reason to even survive the massacre and should have just been added to Jason's already impressive resume of dead bodies in the franchise. Number 10 is Tommy Jarvis. Now I know, you probably are sending me death threats in the comments as we speak, but hear me out, okay? This Tommy Jarvis is from Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. See, I get it. Now you stop sending me the death threats, right? sorry. But okay, Tommy Jarvis in Part 5 of the franchise is very bland, with no real personality or character traits because he simply wasn't given much character development after he was the one to kill Jason for good. This version of Tommy could have been implemented better, but with a very minimal amount of screen time and the time he does come face to face with Jason, who, by the way, is not even Jason, but is paramedic Roy Burns, is sliced in the arm. He did help Pam and Reggie end Roy's reign of terror by slicing his hand with a machete to have him fall onto the tractor harrow. But all in all, Tommy was Roy's bitch and was rarely seen in the film as a whole. Overall, this version of Tommy Jarvis is not even close to the other two versions of the character who we will be seeing later in this list. Number 9 is Sean Robertson from Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Sean is again a love interest, and granted he got some cool scenes throughout New York City. He was knocked out in the climax when Jason knocked him into a wall, and he wasn't seen much since, until he was supposed to run to safety from the toxic waste river flooding the sewers. Sean, just like Nick, had no reason to survive this movie and could have been an opportunity to have Rennie reunite with her dog, Toby, mourning Sean's death and adding another cool kill to Jason's long list of inventive, creative kills in the franchise. Definitely missed an opportunity there if you ask me. Number 8 is Sooneron from Jason X. Unlike Nick and Sean Robertson, I believe it was good to keep Sooneron alive, simply put because he built the android KM-13. Sooner didn't do much in the film in regards to confronting or attacking Jason, but he is higher than the other three we ranked, simply put because he built the normal version of KM13 and then gave her a nice upgrade. Sooner is the real reason that the threat of Jason was vanquished by KM13 because, well, he built her and then upgraded her into an ultimate badass fighting machine. Number 7 is Clay Miller from the 2009 reboot of Friday the 13th. Clay realizes his sister was missing after a trip with her boyfriend and friends to Camp Crystal Lake, and upon everyone telling him she's dead, he never gave up hope and found her with the help from Jenna. Jenna is ultimately killed, but Clay and his sister Whitney are a rare sibling final guy, final girl duo, and together kick Jason's ass. Clay did more than the previous final guys listed in his battle with Jason, who in the 2009 reboot is probably the scariest version of Jason that was ever seen, and even though the ending can come to some as a dream or as real life, Clay deserves to be ranked where he is, no higher, no lower. Number 6 is Stephen Freeman, and he is from Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday. Stephen is the ex-boyfriend of final girl Jessica Kimball and the father to her daughter. The reason Stephen is so high on the rankings is simple. He didn't fight just Jason. He fought numerous forms of Jason who swapped bodies of numerous different people, including the likes of Robert Campbell, Officer Randy Parker, Phil the Coroner, and Officer Josh, on top of facing Jason himself once he was reborn into his decaying body. Stephen, along with Jessica, put a fight against multiple Jasons, and they were the reason Jason was ultimately sent to hell. Number 5 is Will Rollins from Freddy vs. Jason. Will is higher than most would probably rank him, but he didn't just face Jason Voorhees, but also Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street, two of the most iconic evil killers in two totally different franchises, and he survived, along with his girlfriend, final girl Laurie Campbell. He helped Laurie escape and fight Freddy and Jason, while Freddy and Jason also fought each other. Granted, Laurie was the one to decapitate Freddy, but she's the final girl, and the final girl should be getting the last laugh on the killer. But Will did great at putting up a fight, and he did survive two evil beings, which is no easy feat to do. Number 4 is Reggie from Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. Yes, we did cover a final guy from Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, but there were two of them in the film, so we will be covering, well, them both. Reggie, although a kid, had a tough task to follow, and that was to kill Jason Voorhees, along with final girl Pam Roberts. Tommy didn't show up right away, and when he did, well, he wasn't the most help and ended up being hurt before delivering the final blow. But Reggie hit Pseudo-Jason, aka Roy Burns, with a tractor. He jumped onto his back, knocking him off the edge of the barn, which was the only reason Tommy was able to deliver the finishing blow to him in the first place, and also was a means of distracting Jason when Pam was almost finished in multiple close call attempts on her life by Roy's version of Jason. In the end, I believe Reggie deserves to be this high up in the rankings, don't you? Number 3 is the second of 3 Tommy Jarvises, and this one is from Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. Ultimately, he was a rare case where the final guy overshadowed the final girl in this film, as Megan didn't do too much against Jason except for when Jason was drowning Tommy and she nailed him in the neck with a motorboat propeller. But this version of Tommy was a complete and utter badass and was the reason for Jason's ultimate demise, at least until Part 7. He lured Jason into the lake, chained up, set the boat around him on fire, and sent him to his final resting place once and for all. He did return, of course, which is why this Tommy isn't higher, because his plan worked for a small moment to keep him and Megan, along with the kids at the camp, safe, but Jason did return nonetheless. Some may disagree with me on this placing, but there are two better, so give me a chance to explain, alright? Number 2 is Paul Holt from Friday the 13th Part 2. A lot of people probably don't have Paul this high, and they probably don't even have him at all. But here's my reasoning. Paul really gave it to Jason. This is the first time we saw Jason, and he wasn't zombified in this film. Jason was a real guy, a killer, and a dangerous person, but it was way before his zombie days and his supernatural immortality. Paul wasn't fearful of Jason. He attacked Jason in the cabin. Jason dispatched him and then did a long chase scene with final girl Ginny. And then Paul located them at the shack in the woods and saved Ginny again, allowing Ginny to give the finishing blow to Jason, at least until part 3. The ending is the most talked about, yet confusing part of the film. Jason crashes through the window, grabs Ginny, and it's morning. She's being stretchered into an ambulance, but Paul's gone, and no one is giving her an answer to his whereabouts. In part 3, the bodies announced on the newscast indicate Paul survived, but his body may have not been accounted for, as Friday the 13th theoretician Troy Elke, who I interviewed, you can listen to the interview on slasherscotty, but you can do that by clicking the card up in the upper right corner of the screen. Anyways, he stated that in part 3, when Abel found an eyeball and other body parts in the woods, well, they belonged to Paul, as Jason killed him and filleted his body into pieces. That would make sense on why Paul wasn't part of the bodies mentioned in the newscast, don't you think? And the number 1 spot on the rankings is a no-brainer, but it is Tommy Jarvis from Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. Before going into Tommy, please note that there were no final guys in the original 1980 Friday the 13th film, nor in the third film, hence why none were in this ranking. Tommy from Part 4 is a child, and even though being protected by his sister, final girl Trish, he delivered the finishing blow to Jason, and indeed killed him. Jason didn't return until Part 6, when he was a zombie due to a lightning bolt resurrecting him, and in Part 5, Roy was impersonating Jason, so yes, Jason was really killed in this film at the hands of Tommy. Also, Tommy didn't overshadow the final girl like he did in Part 6. But he was also equally as good when going head-to-head and toe-to-toe with Jason Voorhees himself. Tricking him by shaving his head, with Trish distracting Jason, Tommy got the machete and whacked it right into Jason's skull, sliding down into his eye socket and thus killing Jason for good. But that's it! We just ranked all 11 final girls from Friday the 13th. So, let's go into the other studio, discuss some stuff, and then I'll let you go back to surfing cyberspace for some other videos, or maybe more of mine. Woo! Thank you everyone for joining me on this rankings video of the final guys from the Friday the 13th franchise. And if you stuck around this long, please make sure to, like this video and comment on your rankings, and if they differ from mine. I'm sure they do, and if so, tell me the order that you selected and why you chose them to be placed in that order you chose. And of course, show me some love. How can you show me some love? Simple. Doing something I haven't done in a while. It's been 2 weeks since the rankings have been posted, right? That's right. Slash that subscribe button. Show me some love if you want to. Of course, hit that bell notification icon, just to keep updated on all the videos that I upload, from interviews with celebrity guests, to these rankings videos, any of my top 10 videos, the body count, the SSN, and anything else that my slasher heart desires. But I guess that's all. And, just like young Tommy Jarvis has done to Jason, he came after me on more than one occasion during these rankings videos. And if he comes after me again, well, he'll get exactly what Tommy Jarvis gave to him in Part 4. I'll show him a little simple sample of what is to come, alright? Die!